Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. And today's episode, I actually wanted to get a little personal with you guys. Um, I wanted to share a bit about behind the scenes of getting our second venue and just the stress and frustration and everything that went along with it. And so this one, it was last summer, and we were dealing with the banks. And I mentioned this in previous podcasts, but our first bank just, we learned the lesson of don't put all your eggs in one basket and get quotes with multiple banks all at the same time, because inevitably they're going to change everything at the last second. So we had goalposts move, um, a $3 million deal, and by the end of it, they were asking for collateral, cash, and plus the actual asset. It totaled like $5.7 million on a $3 million property. And it was just like, in what world does this make sense? And so then that was like the day that our contract was expiring, or our option period was expiring. And so then we got that extended. Happened again where they start moving the goalpost, and then the actual they moved the goalpost the day after our extended contract or option period expired, and so now we're on the hook for $60,000, and that was our earnest money. And so then it was like all summer, so that was June, and then all summer long it's me just fighting with the banks, fighting with not fighting, but like get getting in front of different banks, bank after bank after bank after bank, to um, basically convince lenders when we were heading into this tightening of the purse strings. So all the banks last summer were just tightening up because money was getting harder to lend out. The first bank that we had talked to, we found out after the fact that they were overextended, and so they were, hence why they were asking for 5.7 in cash and collateral on the loan, because they were trying to make their books look a bit better. And so there's all this stuff going on in the background. And I kept asking myself, how bad do you want this? And is this a sunk cost fallacy? Um, should we just cut it and just move on? Maybe take this as a sign. And what's funny is that in the moment, it's like, does this make sense? And that was the thought that I kept asking, like, am I making the best decision for the business? And so I try to remain objective, and everything told me that this property was going to be uh, successful, and the data supported that decision. But then there's also the other side of it, like this is dragging on. We're now at, like, we don't have any protection if it fails, and so that's the sunk cost part. And it's like, am I just trying to force this through when the signs are there that we should stop? But then it's like everybody who hits it big doesn't stop. Like the person who misses the big breakthrough just stops right before the finish. And so it's like all these conflicting things that were popping up in my mind, and it was just going back to the data. What does the data say? And that's what I defaulted to, and that's why we kept pushing through. And what was great is I have a great team who was doing, a lot of the day-to-day operations and things like that, which enabled me to put my focus into the deals and getting that done and doing all the paperwork and dealing with the banks and doing all this stuff. And so then we just kept pushing out, and then we had the seller who, was getting more and more frustrated. We were supposed to close in June, and now it's August, and it's like, oh my gosh. And so we're just trying to get this through, and we got with our final SBA lender, and then it goes through underwriting, and that takes just a little bit of time, and they're like, cool, it looks good. And then it gets to the final stage, and they just had this one employee who is just obnoxiously bad at her job. And there's like tw- I have probably 10 different email sets that have threads of emails of more than 20, just back and forth with this individual. And she's just asking for the same information on repeat. And it's like, look, we've already provided this. Look at this, look at the date here, and look at this, and we've already done this, and this has already been, and she just didn't seem to understand it. And so it finally gets to the point. Oh, and meanwhile, to add to it, in the year prior, my wife, she was having kidney failure, and so she'd been on dialysis, and then I had gone in to um, see if I was a match, and then in the summer, um, we get a call after like 4 months after I was did the labs and did the test to see if I was a match. 4 months later, we get a call and say, "Hey, we have a match." And so I matched with somebody who matched with somebody who matched with my wife. And so then we had a surgery date, and then wouldn't you know that my wife's surgery was a day before the um, the closing date, and then my surgery was 2 days after. And so while we're going through all of this crap with the venue, we're getting ready to go into surgery, and like we keep saying we got to get this done before September to the bank, and the banks are like, we don't know what we're doing, we've never done a deal before. That's how it felt. And so it just kept pushing, and then yeah, it just all lined up on the same week, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Of course it's this. Of course it's this week. The week that we're going into surgery, and then the next week we take over this business, and two of us are out of commission. Literally can't do anything. Like physically can't even get out of bed. Hurts to walk, hurts to cough, hurts to sneeze, and you're on pain pills and all of this, and it was just like, well, let's just hope the transition goes smoothly. And it didn't go as smoothly as we had hoped for. And there's a lot of things when I came back to it that was like, oh, did this get done? No, it didn't get done. And so it was just like so much heaped on us all at once. And the thing that I kept defaulting back to was just, is this going to be good? Will it be worth it? And relying on the data to just let me know if it, like, the possibility there, was was the potential, not possibility, yes, but potential, did it have potential, and by how much? And I just kept defaulting on that. It's like, yeah, I'm dealing with all this stuff, but the potential here is so big, and we could just really make something of it. And so that was, I mean, that was a singular thought that just kept pushing me through. And it was like every single time we came to this point where it's like, well, this is it. And I was in the position where I was the only one who could do what was required to continue getting the deal done. And that was a heavy burden for me just because nobody else could fill in. Like I just had to, it was like if I gave up, that was it. It was done. Like me, if I gave up on the deal, it would be done. Just completely finished, no shot at redemption, that sort of thing. Nobody could step in and really take it over. And so the thought that I kept having, because the potential was there, the numbers look great, all of that, was this deal won't fall apart because I stopped trying. That was the other thought that I had. So the first was, what do the numbers tell me? Is this a good deal? Yes or no? And is the deal going to fall apart because of me? And I was determined to not be the reason why it fell apart. And I was also okay with it still falling apart despite me doing everything that I could. And so that honestly, the takeaways that I have from that, like I wanted to I learned a lot about the deal process, and how even when it seems like it's done, it's like, or on one side, it seems like you're almost there and you're about to cross the finish line, don't bank on anything until it's done. And then same thing on the other side. Even though at points it seemed like it was just going to fall apart and be done, it's not done till it's done. And so I just use those as my guiding focus. And so if you're out there and you're struggling to get your first property or maybe your second one, just know, don't like, if it's a good deal, if there's a lot of potential, you weigh the risks. If it makes sense, keep pressing. Keep pressing. And don't be the reason why it falls apart if you can help it. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share today, and I hope this was helpful to somebody. And I'd like to hear your stories about how you know, if you guys had any issues getting into a venue or something like that. But if not, stay tuned for the next one, and I'll catch you then.